Welcome back, everyone, to Summoner Scuffle, early morning edition, or maybe just in the afternoon, depending on where you are. This is going to be Eydir versus Orange Lazarus, and so is pronounced Eydir? You think, Jaxic? I forgot to
Adir,
ask.
maybe Eider. I don't know.
Either one of them.
We should just decide something.
I'll say a deer for now, and then I can
Adir.
look like an idiot later. So what we're going with is a deer on the sky. I deer. I don't know. A deer on the Skyspear Avians and Orange Lazarus on the Swamp Orcs, new faction. So let me just we can talk about what we're predicting for this matchup. Before we go into like anything technical, let me just pull up the deck. So I need to change the overlay a little bit. So let's start with Skyspear Avians. Skyspear Avians. Oh, just one second. So what's their general game plan and how do they work? So Ava runs around the fields, uses Gathering Song to sort of just like send commons towards you. They just so like send a sentinel towards you, it'll attack and then be able to retreat. I think she has the range advantage over most factions. Like with Airy Stewards just having worthy dice and being able to buff that with sages, you can just like stay at a distance pretty easily and have an advantage. And then yeah, you can use Gathering Song to just make it so you can get some easy melee attacks in on the enemy, and then they can't respond at all. Um, and then you can also play a bit more aggressive. They can suddenly swap from I'm staying back to, because like all of her units are going to have flight, she just jumps over you, and now she has airy divers to lock you in place, and it can just be a sudden assassination kill. And can kind of swap between those two playstyles on a dime. Do you have any comments about like the general avian strategy as you see
No,
it?
you summed it up pretty well. They've got the mobility and range advantage against most factions. So, but as you can see, Ava's got 10 health, so she's kind of frail, and that can be an important thing sometimes. But she has extra gates, so she can block her flanks pretty well, and that's kind of how her gameplay goes. I'd say that she probably summons more commons than champions. Usually I'd say you only see one or two champions a game with her. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Sorry, I had to send a quick message. Yeah, it's sometimes seems tough for her to get value out, but she's just can, I don't know, she can do very good at a range and assassinations with things like Sky Assault to just like have a line of units that all just pound you. Um and yeah, so let's go on to Swamp Orcs really quick. And Swamp Orcs are newer, so I might not be able to say as many things definitively. But as far as I can understand it, the main engine of your deck is Muglug. Muglug's just running around. You have boosts everywhere, and just try to get as many boosts as possible to just be able to pound the board with Muglug. And you might think, oh, that's a 13 health summoner. If this is like the engine of your deck, how are you like gonna keep her alive for more than like 2 turns? And you have cards like Regenerate to do that, to just heal her. You have cards like Drudger to like prevent her from taking damage. So you can keep her alive for a surprising amount of time. And then if she ever does really get down to the dangerous territory, you can use cards like you can use Emerge to reclaim champions, and then your champions all just do cool things. And you even have a common Bog Witch that will buff them. Um, and yeah, what would you say about like the general strategy to like be able to use Muglug but not die? You have any thoughts
I mean,
about that?
I think dredgers are also an important part of her game plan, and just essentially forcing your opponent to use things to hit, a few extra times. Like she's not going to get taken out by one big hit very often. Um, but she kind of tends to stay back just and kind of grow the swamp compared to some other factions, So it'll be interesting to see, yeah, if she's able to create the pressure or draw Ava in, or if it's just gonna be kind of Ava playing where she wants and moving horizontally.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like I feel like something I struggle with Swamp Orcs is like I want to just build up my swamp, but I also, if I do that like just in the very back, I'm never going to be able to use Muglug. And so like I see I see some players just being more aggressive with Muglug, trying to set up the swamp more in the midfield, and like that seems maybe like sort of the same struggle that like Cooldock will have of just like if you're struggling to get going, the enemy can prey on you pretty easily. If you're struggling to like
And,
build it up in the mid. Yeah.
and maybe we will see that more, a move to the midfield just to kind of try to crowd out and make it so the Skyspear Avians don't have the mobility advantage. Um, the one thing I was thinking though, because I mentioned Drudgers, I think Divers are going to be a key unit in this matchup just to ping Muglug to get rid of the Drudgers, or to
Yeah.
ping the Drudgers themselves, or even use like ranged attacks, like you use Sky Assault to attack through Muglug and hit a Drudger, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. I'm not. These two factions are kind of low on the list of ones I'm particularly strong with. So like you guys say sometimes, like feel free to call us out in chat or do other
Yeah,
stuff.
for sure. And I mean, we're just here to learn as well. So it'll
Yeah,
be fun to learn about this matchup. I think like if I had to predict the dynamics, I think like I would expect something similar to I don't know, like maybe even like breakers versus fungal dwarves, or like cloaks versus fungal dwarves, or like something where it's like a ranged faction against a faction that wants to set up in the middle mid board. Like fungal dwarves also want to just like get a big engine going in the middle of the board. And so like but the ranged faction tends not to just like want to stay in the very back the entire time, because if you just like stay there and don't give any threats, then like the fungal dwarves or Muglug in this case can just waltz on over and just set up however she wants to. Um but if you are more aggressive in the beginning, like you can just like maybe the Avians will rush up right at the beginning, claim the midfield, force the Swamp Orcs to like start more in the back, and then sometime later you can just back off. Like if all of a sudden Ava just flies backwards after Muglug has set up like 6, 7 units just like in the back of her side, then it's gonna be very tough for her to like advance all of those units at once. So like
that's true.
yeah, maybe some sort of like apply pressure, back off, or back off first, then jump on her or something. Could see some interest. Yeah, I don't know.
One defect, I mean, I guess again, Drudgers will be important because they have tireless, so you can move more than 3 units a turn with them to try to move your swamp around. So, but they don't actually generate boost on their own. You have to use so to do it. So, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe this is like me analyzing it a bit too much as like a fungal dwarfs player, because like the swamp bucks don't struggle as much maybe with moving the swamp as like fungal dwarfs do. Like the swamp bucks, like as long as the units within 3 of Mugglug, it's in place, and like that's easier to do than like have all of your beasts in their front lines and whatnot.
Yeah. But
Um,
yeah.
yeah, no, go
So
ahead.
are we starting soon, or
Yeah,
I guess we have a couple
start
minutes,
in like
3 minutes.
3 minutes, and
Yeah.
maybe while we're doing this, if you, I didn't have you introduce yourself. If you just
Oh,
wanna,
yeah.
this is Jexic, talking with me. If you want to say like how like your experience with the game, how you first got into it, and like what keeps you enjoying it.
I've been around forever.
Yeah.
I played the game at Gen Con before it was released, and with like the old Phoenix Elves Tundra Orc starter set. And yeah, I took kind of like a break when the game itself had a break, and then kind of came back not too long after second edition came out. I had a really time-consuming job for a bit, and then I came back really hard in November when, coincidentally, around when Brub came out. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, but played Brub a few times. But yeah, in general, I like the Orcs and Goblin factions, so it'll be interesting to see these guys out there. And sometimes people say that the birds are like flying goblins, so we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, for sure. Sure. You tend to be a very good aggressive player. I don't mean to put you in a box, but I see you like
Yeah,
piloting a lot of decks that just get in there and get it done
yeah,
fast.
it's fun to do. But like, yeah, I had a game not too long where I was playing the birds, and I just like the Phoenix Elves player was aggressive and came up to me, and then I just flew over all of her units and attacked from behind.
Yeah, yeah.
And it worked out. But later on, I was thinking that if they just had Blinding Flare, I'm toast. If they have Spirit of the Phoenix and a Beast and an Ember Archer, I'm toast. But they didn't have any of those things, and I was in fact not toast. I
Yeah.
buttered the Phoenix out. I don't know. I'm losing the metaphor here, but
Yeah, I mean that's just those two play styles for like avians. Avians
yeah.
being able to just
I
like
and I
yeah.
kind of like how the breakers can do that too. These air factions that can sort of just like be hanging back, and then all of a sudden, boom, they can get right up in your face.
Yeah.
Um, because like I know like Watered plays a very passive breakers, but I think all the wind factions can kind of be aggressive if you want them to be. So they're
Yeah,
more dynamic,
yeah. I
and
love
fluid.
playing that as breakers where it's like I'm just staying back and then my opponent's like, okay, fine. I'm like just gonna like be over here and then I'm like, all right, this next turn I'm gonna put a deceiver in front of every single one of your gates. Like suddenly I'm up there with all the yeah, that's and I feel like that's really we could see that going on with the avians right now. I wouldn't be surprised.
All right.
But yeah, it looks like it's 9 o'clock. I'm gonna send them a message.
Yeah. Exciting.
Yeah, I did. So what you read Eydir's profile on Summoner Zone sooner than I did, but yeah, I recall they said they like the Avians a lot, or do you
Yeah, like
remember
the
gameplay?
Avian. He said he likes the more simple factions like Tundra Orcs, Skyspear Avians, stuff like that. The funny thing is, he also said it after he's like, "I'm a particle physicist or a theoretical particle," but I like the simple stuff. I was like, "Wow, okay."
Yeah, I don't know what to make with that. Are those things related? We shall find. We shall see.
And he's also another German player. I know you guys had a couple Germans on a week ago, so
Yeah, we keep there's all these players and what I was talking to Massimo last night. What did they say? There's like they said strongholds in Poland, Germany, and Greece, more or less.
Poland, Germany, agree. Yeah,
um, yeah, it's. I mean, I would love to just like visit
we should
the sorry,
do a Euro trip.
like seriously, or like it sounds like they did some meetups. I forget who was part of it. I know like SIP
Yeah,
and
Sip and I think Bradulf and stuff. Yeah,
yeah, there's at least like 5 people or something,
I
right?
think there's a number of them in Poznan
Ah, gotcha.
in Poland. So yeah,
Yeah, that seems fun. And then Orange Laz, I met briefly, not briefly, at Gen Con,
at
and
Gen Con.
we had
Yeah,
we
you
had a
played
lot of fun.
against him, right?
I played against him. He beat. We've done. I think I've now done like 5 games against him total. He's beat me every single time. But we'll we'll get there. Um, yeah, just Gen Con. We played crap. What's that other Plaid Hat Games game I was telling you about?
Dead of Winter,
Dead of
maybe.
Winter. Yeah,
Yeah,
we played that with some other friends and family members. And
yeah, it's a fun one.
that's a lot of
Yeah, I
fun.
played.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's very again, like I said, pretty different than Summoner Wars, but it's.
very different. Is very good. It's just like we're just we all had a long day and just wanted some laughs.
uh, so we're waiting on.
Waiting on Eydir.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
keep filling the space. Yeah, Orange Class has always
Okay.
seemed to like wait or to like I don't know, like he's always seemed up there. I mean like back like a year ago it felt like it was like just Orange Laz and Donkey were like the big dogs, and there was no one else. No one could
Yeah,
beat him.
and then we had and then Sip came later, and now Vex are those are the. I mean, obviously there's other top players too, like Massimo and
Yeah.
Prophet, and yeah.
Awesome. I see a game link.
Okay,
That's what I
yeah, I
want.
will copy that.
Oh, I shouldn't make.
Oop, and it looks like it's begun, or they haven't moved yet, but you know.
Yeah, who's going first? Orange is going first. That's probably good for him. Like probably like especially if you have a gate in hand. I feel like I've done a lot of setups with Muglug where I just like I go forward 2 spaces and drop a gate if it's like against a faction that can be more passive.
Yeah.
Ye- uh, yeah, and I'll just be very curious to see how Eydir wants to play it. Like, do we get up in their face and try to assassinate? Do we get up in their face and then back off to take advantage of the
Mobility.
yeah, the mobility? Because I feel like Avians at their best do both. Like, you're not just cave goblins, you're not just rush down and trap, but you're also not just breakers. You're not just stay back forever.
Yeah.
You need to be able to balance those and turn on a dime. And knowing when to do that is like really, really hard. Just takes
And
good instincts. Yeah.
and the other thing, interesting thing I think about Orange Lazarus compared to some of the other players we think of as being some of the top players is I don't think he's as defensive or cautious as some of the other ones. Like I've seen him play games where he just rushes people down and breaks them. So it'll be interesting to see how aggressive he starts this off.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like I saw like a Polar Dwarves versus Fungal Dwarves game he did once where he just was like summoning bears and using frost mages to block gates and stuff. So, but here we see kind of like a standard like move to the side and stack and get some boosts going.
Yeah. It's kind of it's fairly passive, maybe more so than I would expect for this matchup. Um,
But like you're saying, maybe he doesn't have a gate.
Maybe it doesn't have a
Uh,
gate. Yeah, I mean, what would you? Yeah, it's hard to just like run Muglug up knowing that you might be against like 3 Sky Assault attacks the next turn.
yeah, and like so this movement kind of makes that Sage not that useful, you know, like the because it's not gonna be able to fly to Ava, or not gonna be able to fly to that steward. So, you know, he's not gonna get. Either will have to summon a Sage to even get a decent attack on that Bog Shaman,
Yeah, yeah.
or use Gathering Song. You know. Oh, there's Divine Gate, and it's in a pretty defensible position. It's pretty far back.
So there is a gate in hand. Uh,
But it's a Vine Gate. It's a little different than the 5 hit point gate, you know.
that's true. I mean, a gate's a gate, but
Yeah.
yeah. Um, yeah, and playing a bit more defensive. I wonder how that's gonna work out. I wonder if it'll end up being tough having to stay back and be more defensive, or if OL will be totally fine and Adir is gonna go on the offense. Like there's so much there's so many possibilities when you're playing against the Avians as far as like where the action is gonna take place.
Yeah, this is a matchup that I don't know if I've played yet because both of these are kind of in the middle of how often I play decks. So,
Yeah. Yeah, avians are weird. I feel like what I tend to say about them is like that they have all the power to decide um what's what and where. So like they like if they want to say the matchup like the action is taking place on your side of the board, that's what's happening. And if they want to say nope, you have to come to me, I refuse to like send any units towards you whatsoever, that's what's happening.
so we are seeing the Gathering Song, like I said, to get that Sage over. I wonder what they're gonna do here. I wonder if there's a Sky Assault too.
Yeah,
You know, are they just gonna stack up across? And because otherwise, you're looking at maybe one attack here. You know.
yeah. I mean, two different things. Oh, hey Aaron, how's it going? Yeah, like you could either just run up and try to like get a big attack from the top 3 spots, or uh, Like if that steward that was just someone was like a sentinel, I'd say okay, yeah, pulling back that steward, interesting. But if that steward was a sentinel, I could say um, we could just like run up, hit the bog shaman, and then pull everything back. So like Mugglug doesn't have any good attacks.
This is interesting. If we get lucky on that, Vine Gate could destroy it. We'll see.
That would be pretty huge. I mean, seems like OL put it far back to protect it, but might not be enough. I have to get a bit. I don't know what the odds are here, but it's definitely low.
Yeah, I mean, because you need a special and a. But yeah, that's still a good turn. Took out one unit and damaged the Vine Gate significantly.
Yeah, for sure. And that's interesting. That like that's a play I would never do is play the Gathering Song just to pull one sage. Like normally I'm looking to get some like crazy value out of it of just like pull all of my units, then pull them all back or something. But
Yeah.
they're
Yeah,
happy.
that's one of the more interesting epics, I think. I have not gotten the best use out of it yet, I don't think. But again,
Yeah,
sometimes early on you just want to play a card to get it flowing rather than wait for the best opportunity to use it, you know?
exactly, exactly. And I mean that sage getting that kill is pretty huge.
Yeah. And you wouldn't have been able to do that if you just left the stage over there, so let's see how many cards they discard.
Yeah, usually I mean the Avians units are kind of expensive, so
Yeah. And
it'd
you're
be
only at 2 magic now, so he's probably gonna discard at least one, I would think.
yeah, I mean like if they weren't that good, I could definitely see like dropping them all. I don't know. Gathering the flock.
Oh.
Gonna put the 5 health
But
one in front
want
of
to,
Ava.
yeah, save the steward, save the one with low health, makes sense.
Yeah.
And that makes it hard for the Vinemancer to have a very useful attack next turn. It can pull something, but it may do 2 damage to the Steward. So unless he backs it up with another unit, that Steward's probably going to survive.
Yeah.
We'll see what comes out of that Vine Gate, though.
It'll be blub.
OL's got 4 magic, not 5. But
So probably not. I mean, an emerge could just barely do it. It wouldn't be
oh,
worth
that's
it.
true.
Uh,
Yeah, I didn't think about Emerge because yeah, especially like this early. I mean, I guess yeah, Blub could like smack the Steward for 5, but then you're committing like an explosive champion to an early play.
yeah, and I mean, I think the general
And
rule of
then Ava
champion,
just backs
yeah,
off. Ava just backs off and kills it, probably. And then you're like, why'd I do
exactly.
that?
Like Muglug wants to build up the swamp here. Champions are good like once you already sort of have the foothold that you're looking for.
But I expect to see a couple comments come out of this gate just to make use of it while it's still there, you know, get the extra free boosts.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully got like 2 commons in hand. I'd play anything. Although like the way that Vinegate works, like you could play 2 commons right now and then also emerge because then you would have 3 units with 3 boosts, and that would
Oh,
put you
yeah.
at 2 magic, and then you could summon Blub. I don't really think that would work. Um,
Because
but
then if you did that, you'd have nowhere to move Blub to. But that
yeah,
is an interesting point.
there's a lot you can do with emerge.
Do they have any ranged champions? I don't think so, do they?
Nope. Nope, it's
Yeah.
all melee. They don't really, yeah, their range is pretty awful, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, their best unit, the Vine Mancer, is melee, and then they just kind of have these little. Oh,
Oh, there we go.
it wasn't an emerge, but it was a splack.
Interesting. I wonder if Orange Laz isn't looking at the most helpful hand there, because I feel like you want
Get some
units.
commons out, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe this is kind of what I was saying, where he figures that the Avians will be able to pick where the fight goes, so he should move to the center. Now that you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and I mean that makes sense. Muglug definitely. I mean, hoping Eydir didn't hold a sky assault. How many?
so we're looking for
No
a
way.
5 out of 5
Did
here.
we? Did Eydir held
Everything.
everything, all 3 cards? That's
So
terrifying.
it must have Sky Assault or something good. We'll
This
see.
might this might be a quick game here. This is looking kind of horrifying with that steward being alive that can literally fly behind Mug right now. Did Orange want to?
OL's probably going to build Magic heavy though, discard a lot of cards, I think, because he's playing more aggressively.
This is a little weird. Like, why didn't? Oh wait, Splack did it? I just missed the attack. Sorry. On
Spike went
stream,
3 out of 3. Spike
yeah, I
went 3 out
see.
of 3, and the Vinemancer went 0 for 2.
Okay, so that was 5 dice total on a 5 health unit. So OL wasn't really expecting that to kill. Wow, there's going to be a lot of dice on Mug. This is not going to be pretty.
Well, Sentinel won't have flight. Oh, yeah, we'll have flight. Never mind where it's at. So yeah.
Flight starts within 2. Yeah, and then that's another big part of the Avians, just balancing. The units have to start the move phase within 2 to have flight. I am really surprised that that Sentinel is not just running right up towards Mudglug. I mean, maybe not actually if you can't.
I mean, there's always, regenerate.
Yeah, and so if you're just getting a little bit of damage, maybe it's not worth it.
But it does feel good to take some shots when there's no drudgers out. So
Eydir held 3 though, right? Like, there's got to be a Sky Assault. Sky Assault if you hold 3, right? Like,
yeah,
it's got to be there.
yeah, and they didn't play a gate either. So yeah, I'm really curious what they're holding on to here. Could be champions too, but no, you'd probably just pitch the champion. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to ask about that if you remember. Aaron says Mug can kill 10 health so fast. That is true. Like,
Yeah. Ooh.
kind of
Nice hit.
kind of scary for Ava. Yeah, I mean, like, so like with a Bog Shaman, Mug can attack twice and then just like use a Vinemancer to pull that Sentinel out of the way. Actually, no, you can't do that because the Sentinel has.
Yeah, that's probably why you put the Sentinel there.
That's always, I always forget about that. Like, you never think that Sentinels have an ability, but they actually do.
It's actually quite useful when it is useful.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're gonna see a Sky Assault here. Ooh, not after a 1 out of 3. We probably won't. Maybe that's why we didn't see. Oh, we did. So Stewart's got to go.
Interesting.
Really lucky here.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe Aaron's pointing out that like Ava feels like they need to be more defensive, but that could have been like, we could have been looking at 3 melee dice plus like 5 range dice minimum on Muglug that turn if we had just ignored the commons and gone all face. Now it's a bit scary, but like,
yeah, this is a rough attack for Eydir here.
Yeah, and I feel like the units are kind of where OL will want them, but only 2 magic. I mean, 2 magic's all you need, but like if OL doesn't have a gate, I don't know. Like just looking at Muglug by herself in a midfield against the Avians is just like, oh, I'm gonna die.
But I mean, he did just burn 1 Sky Assault already, so
That's true. That's true, and not really doing much of anything. It just, or yeah, dice just weren't on his side that game. Yeah.
no witch though, so no crazy blowing up turn here.
Yeah, I mean, I think both summoners are just happy to be alive through a turn. Muglug just sort of forces that sort of game of like 1 wrong step and you're dead. And that's scary.
I wonder if we'll see like a horizontal shift here from the Avians after this. Just get out of the way a bit.
Yeah, it feels like Avians have been kind of vanilla, just like sort of going in one spot, staying there for a little bit. I'm expecting Eydir will change that up in a little bit. I'll have to see.
Well, OL's rewinding.
And yeah.
Just changing his formation up. Same units.
Yeah. I guess a diver would be able to kill that drudger in the move phase and in the summon phase and then just like surround Muglug. I'm still very scared right now. Like looking at OL's positioning, like that's scares me. But maybe you just gotta play it a bit risky.
Reaping for 3. Oof! What kind of roll was that?
Heck?
Oh man!
Oh my goodness!
He's probably fuming at the computer right now. Just like,
What?
was it a 1 out of 6?
That
Well, I
was
guess.
1 out of
And Splack,
6.
I guess Splack needs a 3 out of 3 to kill it, or yeah, I'd probably just go for the Steward. He's like, I'm not gonna risk a bad roll again. Yeah, I get the 2 out of 3.
That was a 1 out of
Wow.
6. In what world do you get a 1 out of
I'm gonna
6?
look at the odds right now. I have the
That's
dice simulator out. All right,
that's
so
yeah.
6 dice hit on swords. Roll it. So the odds of a 1 hit is 0.1%.
Huh. What a skill issue. Like,
Yeah, because I mean the odds of 4 or better was 93%. He had a 93% shot to kill that sentinel.
okay, I mean the upside here is he can't get a diver on Muglug. The downside is Muglug looks kind of dead.
Well, I think he's gonna focus on killing the commons. Yeah, and puts a gate there, and
It's
then
just
Muglug's just sort of stuck.
yeah, and that's just not it. Not where you want to be.
Because if he gets a 3 out of 3 with the sentinel to the north from our perspective, oh, he's going for the gate. That kind of
He's
makes sense
going
too.
for the gate. Fast.
Yeah,
Like
I mean, what's the bog shaman gonna do? It's like a 50-50 to kill the bog shaman. So it makes sense.
I would have attacked
Oh,
Muglug. Oh wow.
I wouldn't have. I'd probably kill the gate or the bog shaman. I think those are the play. Because now what's Mugla gonna do?
That's fair. And well, I feel like there's this
And with no vine gate, you can't
yeah.
summon a witch out and get a double hit. Oh, this is looking bad for a while.
I feel like I've heard a lot of debate about like whether you attack Muglug first or you try to like get rid of the swamp. You go for the swamp first.
Yeah, and at this
And yeah.
yeah, and at this point, if he has a merge, he's like, oh, this is useless, but it's gonna be good for him in a couple turns. So,
If Muglug can just stay alive, period. We'll be happy. I mean, Muglug still got regenerate, so like I guess the thought is like you don't want to just pour a few resources and just have it die out. So yeah, I mean this is a pretty strong board for Ava. See if
I'm
OL
expecting
can
a full retreat here. We'll see.
full
Like
retreat,
move
but like how even?
like I'd say, well, he'll probably move the bog shaman to our left. OL's right, and then pull Muglug back to the spot where the bog shaman is, I think, and
Yeah.
just summon whatever he can this turn. But
Yeah, it's almost like though, like that would be even more vulnerable to like Sky Assault than where he is right now. Not that where he is right now is, I mean, yeah, no, you're right. Like where he is right now is kind of just death, like because there's just going to be a unit behind him every single turn.
and it's interesting he's got the sentinels in the front, and he just summoned a vine mancer, which is can't pull those around. But oh, he's going forward. Yeah, maybe he's thinking what you're thinking, that the gate is his best protection against Sky Assault.
Yeah, though, yeah, and if you kill that Sentinel, actually, there's no unit that can get back to Ava right now, just because you blocked that gate, or sorry, can get back behind Sentinel, because like a unit needs to start within 3 spots of where that Sentinel is right now, and blocking that gate prevents that. So that seems like a pretty good play.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah,
the
go
vine
ahead.
mancer could the vine mancer could pull the bog shaman somewhere to hit the sentinel if you'd rather go for the sentinel. I don't know. We'll see. But I definitely think Muggle. Oh, okay. Getting more boosts.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like blocking that gate will be important. So probably
Keep Muggle where she's at.
oh, do you pull the witch up and like brutalize the gate or something?
Maybe. Oh, he's going for that
What the
sentinel.
heck? You're not going for the Sentinel?
Well, he's going for other sentinel. But
Oh,
yeah,
oh, I see. Aaron points out in chat, Vine Mancer to pull Witch, and now the
yeah.
Witch kills the Sentinel. I see. This is pretty
Oh, augment.
good.
That makes sense. Yeah. I'm hoping for. Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Ah,
Nice. See, didn't even get a 1 out of 6.
this is why I don't play Swamp Orcs.
It's tough. Well, so like, look at that. Like, OL just like there was literally a spot behind Muglug that was stolen, which like against a lot of factions can just be death. Like if this Avians get behind your summoner, it can just be, oh, I'm just dead. There's no way for me to not be trapped right
I
now.
mean, the funny thing now is Ava could still dive over and attack Muglug from behind, but that's probably suicide.
That's
Like,
probably, I would love to see it. This game would be over within 10 minutes.
But I think if you back off, then you just lose your gate, your extra gate, and then yeah, I don't know. But they do have 4 magic, so they can summon a few things. But here's what we're talking about, where Ava's losing her mobility advantage because she can't really go very many interesting places right now.
Yeah, I mean, like, at this point with Ava, I would definitely consider just like, I'm just gonna go 3 spaces to the left, so to our left right now, and just like, now I'm over here. Like, Muglug's over there, cool, you can't do anything with her. Um,
Yeah, I was looking in chat. Aaron basically said uh, what ended up happening.
yeah, 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 yeah. Our 2 players are talking on our Discord channel too, with Eydir saying that the dice are very one-sided. Sorry about that, and well, saying they'll try to claw it back, which they're doing a pretty good job. Like there was a unit behind Muglug, and now there's not, and like this
Yeah,
is a decent forward position.
yeah,
And
we'll
so,
see.
and so maybe like what I was calling at the beginning, like being kind of confused about OL playing a bit more passively, was OL just being like, I'm gonna advance, but it's gotta be slow and careful. Like
Yeah,
I can't just charge up there turn 1 and place a gate. I wanna sort of
but
move up and be safe the
and I
whole
think the
time.
interesting thing is that I feel like Oil's in a decent position right now, despite that early roll. So you really just can't give up on the game because of 1 or 2 bad rolls.
You gotta believe. Don't quit Summoner Wars. We need you. Stay.
Although it looks like he's gonna clear the swamp out pretty well this turn.
That's pretty menacing. That is like the formation you are looking for.
And Ava's still in a pretty good spot. Yeah, killed the witch. And if he goes 3 out of 3, this is huge. Nope, 2 out of 3. But still,
Damn
good
it.
turn.
If that had had worthy, that would have been 5.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, OL has 4 magic. Praying he's got another gate here. Always rooting for the underdog. It's such an explosive matchup either way. Like I think the league is doing Swamp Orcs versus Eternal Council, and like that seems like a similar thing of like
Yeah.
both summoners. It's just like mutually assured destruction. Like either one like
Yeah.
shows their
I had a
face.
I had a game where someone advanced too far and I just surrounded them with like Citadel advisors to make sure they couldn't use Drudgers to protect Muglug, but
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
because a Drudger really slows you down in that matchup.
yeah, like yeah, and it's weird too because like both factions only have like a little bit of movement tech. So yeah, like slowing each other down would be really helpful. Like all you've got is the advisors as Warn as Eternal Council, and all that Muglug has is the Vine Mancers and Blub. I'm pretty sure it's the only weird
Yeah.
movement.
But yeah, I noticed yeah, they're using a lot of Sentinels here, probably just to kind of shut down the Vinemancer utility a bit.
And OL is like, how do I get out of this?
Yeah, it's like you want to stay up because you want to block that gate, but at the same time, if you stay,
At the
you're
same time,
still
you
kind of right
don't.
there.
Yeah.
Well, because I mean, a Drudger can't reach her from here, can't reach Muglug from here. So unless you pull it in with a vine, so I feel like if Muglug stays where she is, gonna get surrounded by stuff next turn. Maybe even with Ava just diving in.
Yeah,
But we'll
like
see.
yeah, like you need an ability. If she's gonna stay here, you need more of your own commons around you, and that's a little bit tough with your gate going down.
Yeah.
Yeah, like cause yeah, if Ava and that steward both fly behind Muglug, like, and Ava places a gate, like that could be it. Like if Muglug can't kill Ava in 1 turn, she might be
I
dead.
almost wonder if Muglug takes inactivity damage here and just runs away. And just says, "This is bad."
I really hope OL has the gate. uh, Need another gate here. These last few turns I've been like, oh, this is over for Swamp Orcs, and by the end of it, I'm like, oh, it's a pretty good spot. So let's see what they can salvage. This is nice. So where Muglug is now, she's protected by the Drudger, and the Drudger can't be killed by an Airy Diver because it's more than 2 spaces away from Ava. So,
Huh. Oh, probably gonna
ooh,
pull the Drudger back, use the 3 hit, and then pull it back with the Vinemancer.
or pull Muglug back even.
Oh, that too. Yeah, just get Muglug even farther away.
I don't know. It's interesting though because you can't just kill the Drudger and then still attack Muglug, but somehow, I mean, Muglug's still sitting at 13 health. That's good. It's a lot of health.
Yeah, and I guess we can do an econ check. Looks like OL's a little behind, so just on cards and draw pile. So,
Yeah,
but not by a lot.
yeah,
So if
yeah.
this goes long, oh, so we're not even using the Drudger for protection this turn.
What the heck? We're just killing shit. Like, okay, yeah, sure. That's a really interesting play. Muglug's exposed on 2 sides here.
But yeah, got a 5 hit, so kill the Sentinel, and then the Drudger is doing some damage.
And I mean, maybe this is a call of OL being like, you've been too afraid to hit Muglug so far. You keep calling my swamp. I'm gonna freaking make you. Like, if you're not gonna hit Muglug, I'm not gonna defend her. Uh,
And that's, yeah, long term that feels like a rough gate placement, especially since you're covering 3 spots of it already. But I guess Drudger's not going to survive, and the Vinemancer probably won't either. But I always feel like I don't want my gates like in the same column if I can avoid it, you know?
yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe OL likes that, like the gate's just like away from the Avians. Like this gate won't be destroyed. And I mean that Drudger's probably gonna die, so that spot's gonna be open.
Yeah, and the Avians don't have a way to steal spots unless you use a Diver. And Diver can't hit that Drudger this turn, so that's a plus. By Diver, I mean with its summon ability, you know. There's
Yeah,
3 away
yeah,
from Ava,
yeah,
and 2 away from the gates, and neither of them are airy gates.
yeah. That's one of the most lethal things Ava can really do to Muglug. It's just like you thought you were safe with a Diver. Nope. Now that you thought you were safe with a Drudger, now it's dead, and I'm gonna occupy its spot with my own Diver. Like that can just be real brutal.
Oh. Avian's thinking about stuff here.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, thinking about's gotta mean like there's very drastically different ways you could approach this turn. I wonder what they are.
Yeah, it'll be nicer. Like, I don't know. It'll be cool if we ever get a way to be able to see both hands and see, and like just for spectator mode like that. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know how to
maybe.
do that without making it so people could spy on their opponents or whatever. But
Yeah, I mean,
it,
maybe like a special mode specifically for formats like this, like a tournament
yeah,
mode or something. Go ahead. Yeah.
yeah. No, I think it'd be nice, especially when they do like the big tournament, or like the when they do the finals, then Colby and Joe do it, and it'd be nice for them to be able to swap through and see both hands. I think.
Yeah. Though sometimes, I mean, especially in a real-time game, like analyzing everything that's in the hands and whatnot. I guess if it was just there, it's tough because like I consider like having the contestants like text us every turn what their hands are, and it's just like that's just way too much work to like.
Yeah, that seems a little clunky.
I wonder. I remember like watching Hearthstone tournaments where it's like they had the hands on they had the hands on stream, and then there would be like a scandal where someone's like cheating by watching the
I'm watching the
stream.
stream. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that would happen at
Yeah,
least
I mean,
for.
maybe if there's $1,000 on the line again or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh well, the only person who's probably had to mention Summoner Wars on his text is as far as players go.
That's a good elevator pitch. Yep, and Ava just holding strong, staying in the same spot.
Well, I mean, yeah, like Aaron mentioned, Ava could just die, especially if there's a witch or something involved.
Ava could just die. That is, yeah, that's the fear. Oh, we
And like
finally
I was kind
good.
of thinking, I think he's got the Ava's got the econ advantage this game so far. So might as well just play cautious and look, wipe the board again.
Yeah,
So
that's so interesting. And like again and again, I'm seeing opportunities where I would have hit Mug and they go for the commons, and I'm wondering like, yeah, I wonder if that's. I mean, they've been
probably
very
just trying to
consistent.
get Orange Lazarus to pitch emerge or not emerge, pitch regenerate and not use it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like I wonder if I'm learning a lot here about how to play against swamp orcs, like because just there being no swamp at the start of every turn is like really good. Like Muglug's not going to be able to just like rebuild that from scratch every single time.
Yeah.
I'm hoping we got like a blub or well, that wouldn't even work because we can't even emerge. Ah, ick.
Well, you don't need to emerge. You have the 5 magic, but I think a blub alone would not do
Yeah.
much.
No, I
Just
want
kill one of those commons and then
I want blub plus 3 commons. That's not
and
quite
there's no
right.
Vine Gate to make that happen with emerge, yeah. I think they're doing a good job at controlling the swamp, like we said, and it'll be interesting to see how Orange Lazarus responds.
Yeah.
And they're 4 cards behind on deck now. Like, yeah, it's looking kind of rough.
Yeah, it's a tough
But
spot.
we
Go ahead.
but we've said that a couple times, and he seems to keep turning it around. So
And then every turn it's like, all right, like doing okay. Yeah, I mean it seems like that's mostly like their ranged advantage speaking here. Oh my goodness, that is so far up. Muglug is now within diver range.
oh,
Oh, and there's
gate.
a gate. Yuna can still get behind her, but it seems like we're just
Yeah, we might
saying,
be seeing all three. Ooh, another bad
uh,
melee roll. I mean, a 3 out of 3 is like a 50% chance, so you'd rather just get that 2 out of 2. But still, oh, a little reap killer.
Aaron
Yeah.
points out in chat, Mug has a great end game though. What are you thinking of, Aaron? Are you thinking of like emerging champions out, or just like Mug just one-shotting every single unit, or what's your justification behind that?
What are you thinking? Or
Aaron says Mug has a great end game.
oh, maybe it's
And
just
yeah,
growing the boost and stuff like that. But I wonder if we see a dive on Muglug now that the Muglug's so far forward.
yeah, and I mean, I think OL's taking a calculated risk here. Just like, yeah, I know you can get behind me, but gotta gotta let it happen. I feel like we should finally be seeing some dice on Muglug this turn when there's only 4 health worth of commons on the board.
Or maybe not. Maybe just prune the swamp over and over again.
Orange didn't discard any cards last turn. What a madman.
Huh.
I mean, guess there's only 9 left in deck, so
Yeah, probably trying to put the brakes on his burn rate because because I mean I guess with the Swamp Orcs you can pitch champions more often because of emerge, but maybe he did and he's just running out of things to summon for magic.
yeah. Here, I'll read what Aaron responded. He says one Vinemancer and a bog or two can allow for quick kills in the end of units without good options for retaliate. So yeah, so the idea just being that like all you need are like 3 commons, like something with a lot of boosts and something and a Vinemancer, and you can just like rip through everything in the end game.
Yeah, I've seen games where that happens, where like factions that don't have a good punish can really just get ripped up by Muglug. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. It's so tough. I love it's so exhilarating just seeing the how long they're taking on their turns. It, it it feels like every turn's real tough. Go ahead.
No, I was just and Muglug is positioned pretty well to not get hit by Sky Assault here at the very least.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
So
yeah. And
you
while he's
basically have to,
gone. Yeah.
yeah. So it's maybe not as risky a position as it looks, despite being so far up.
Yeah, and I guess maybe like something I never appreciate is just how strong the Vine Mancers are, being able to pull any of your own units or enemy commons. Like even if Ava gets a unit behind Muglug, the game's not over. Like we can pull that unit in the attack phase, we can kill it, pull Muglug back a spot. So maybe that's why sorry, that's why that's why Orange Labs is a bit more comfortable.
Oh, there's the diver.
Coming down.
Probably gonna go behind, like we said, but huh.
Yeah, I mean I could even see it.
Or just
Uh
move the sage up and hit for 3 from, yeah, maybe they'll just hold the formation.
you gotta
Oh,
put
gathering song.
something behind. You gotta make their life difficult at some point, right? Like
Oh,
there we go.
oh, is Ava flying? Yes, Ava's going in.
And this is the big swing.
Oh, well, we're going for the commons. Just hit once from behind and try to kill the commons again.
Yeah, yeah. Going for that 3-on-3, that's the best you got. And then I guess we're just gathering two different
Yeah,
commons behind Ava.
and yeah, just make it so that Muglug doesn't have as many good targets and is kind of stuck on your side of the board. You always love to see when the Ava just decides that your side of the board is better than hers.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what we were talking about at the start of the game. It's like Ava stays back and then she doesn't, and it's just game's very different all of a sudden. This
Oh,
is
just one.
this is
But
tough.
this is the fun attack here.
Yeah, good luck dealing with this. I don't know how you do it. I wonder if you even gather another unit there. Maybe you don't need to.
I may put the weakened steward on the right there, but the fact you can summon off of it anyway is maybe a good reason not to gather. That's probably what they're thinking about now.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, are either of these units as good as something I could summon fresh?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Eydir can probably like put like lay on the gas here, like with a fair bit of an econ advantage against Mug.
It's like, do I gather? I don't know. See who's checking chat.
Oh,
Oh, so yeah, pulled the diver back. Or forward, really. And built to 5 magic, so if he's got Cyruk, that could be really good.
I would be amazed if OL can pull this game back. Like, I know it's possible, but like, man, if I was looking at this board state in my own game, it'd just be like I'll try, I'll play it out, but
Yeah,
ain't no
you'd
way.
pause and come back 20 minutes later, give it another thought.
Yeah.
You can't do that right now.
Yeah, yeah. That's what you do for every turn, probably in a game like this.
Uh-oh. I'm gonna have to step out for about 2 minutes. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, I mean, Mug can move to the side, place a gate. No summons. Oh no. Do we have another gate at least? We got another gate. We're fine, maybe. This is brutal though. Gate in the back and maybe a gate up front. Nope. Just going at the steward. Yeah, I think Orange Laz knows he's behind and it's gonna be tough, but maybe the out is Ava doesn't get very good rolls. able to get a jump on Ava, like, because I mean, I don't know how exactly does Ava respond to this. Ava probably can't just like move up all by herself. Like, it'd be great to just like totally surround, but you don't really want Ava next to Muglug, especially with that Vine Gate. That could be death. So you probably just want to like move one of your own units there. Probably still surround Muglug, get as much damage as you can, but like you might need to keep Ava out of the action. Yeah, just looking tough. Yeah, I'm definitely curious to ask Eydir about like avian positioning. Like do they find some matchups they just like keep away as much as possible, where like they just do a few attacks and then they um gather everything back? Um or like do they sometimes favor a more aggressive playstyle? Like I chatted with some people that are like, oh yeah, I just play aggressive Ava. Like I just like to get in there, get hits, fly over them. That's fun. And I mean that can definitely work. I think like the optimal playstyle sort of balances the two, balances being able to stay back and then also jumping up there. Very safe. Only one attack on Muglug. I mean, it seems like OL might have made the right call there.
All
Um,
right, I'm back. How did Muglug get all the way over there?
she's the previous turn was just move over there, get one attack, and she didn't summon anything on that previous
Oh,
turn. Yeah,
gotcha.
it's tough, but
Still looking rough.
looking rough. Though, like not quite. Like Ava could
Got a lot
have,
of magic though.
yeah, Ava could have gotten three attacks on Muglug this turn, and is opting just for one for safety. So
Like, yeah, I mean, I guess maybe it's one of those things where when you're ahead, you don't want to give your opponent an opportunity uh, to get back in the game and killing your summoner. You know?
yeah, I mean, like one blub with a bog witch behind him. I mean, that could be 10 dice. Like that could be it.
Yeah.
Uh,
So instead, just kill the gates, get some magic. Again, just flex your econ advantage that you kind of still have. At least you have a board advantage, and econ's about the same. So yeah.
yeah, I guess that. The Avians units are just so expensive. It's hard to. I find playing for the econ very tough for them unless I'm like taking advantage of the ranged advantage like the whole game. Like I feel like whenever I move up and just like have my units positioned and attacking like all in a big group, I just feel like I end up losing on value. Just I don't know, just because I'm just spending so much magic to keep them alive.
But Muglug gives you lots of targets to keep funneling your own magic engine. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
And like we said, the attack. I mean, if we had to say that someone getting better rolls, it's but I don't think it's been too egregious after that 1 and 6 and a couple others. But yeah, Mug looks like, wow, what do I do?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it
And
definitely. Go ahead.
yeah, you put the Vine Gate out to try to get back in the game, I think, but it's a little far back to put it far back to not get destroyed, but also it's a little far back to really be that useful for Muglug. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, this game is interesting and helpful insofar as just like what to do when you're behind. Like, because
Oh,
a lot of
blurp.
times, oh, there we go, just six magic on Glurp. Oh my goodness, here. Muglug's so exposed, but
I
yeah.
guess just hoping to kill the Sentinel, put a Vine Gate there, block your flank.
Should be able to.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it'd be so upsetting if the Glurp
Oh,
misses
no.
right now.
No, blurp got it.
Thank
But
goodness.
still, Muglug's at 7. Oh, we don't have 4 magic anymore. I was thinking we'd see Cyruk, but not this turn.
Yeah. Oh, I here 1 second. I need to plug in my computer. I'll be back in 10 seconds.
But yeah, I'm thinking if this could be another turn we see Sky Assault. Could be rough. Yeah, that's what I'm expecting is maybe a retreat and a Sky Assault, but
Back
we'll
here.
see. What do you think happens this turn, Ben? I'm guessing if there's another Sky Assault, we see that, and it could be the game. But
Yeah, I mean, Mug can survive 2 attacks, but good chance can't survive 3. So yeah, it's a little scary. I don't know if Mug, if like Eydir low rolls here or just doesn't get that many good attacks, like, oof.
oh,
Okay, no,
sealing
that's
the escape.
uh-oh.
All right, so not a Sky Assault. Probably just trying to make the best use out of. Yeah, probably not dead, but this is kind of like a check in chess, you know? Like,
Yeah. I mean, maybe a Vine Mancer and like a Regenerate will keep Muglug alive here. It's gonna be tough.
and you're out of Vine Gates too. Like, Glurp can't retake territory by playing a Vine Gate, and Ava's super safe.
Yeah, it's not looking good. Commentary of the year. I don't know. Some amount of Vine Mancer shenanigans
Oh,
could
Battle
maybe.
Song too? Maybe this is game.
Oh yeah, that'll not be so good. Maybe we
Three.
can get maybe luckily on OL's side. On average, he's dead here. 3 on 2. That's a 75 to hit, I think.
This is about, I think it's about 70, but oh, no.
Nope.
She lives. Just barely.
All right, OL. Let's pull this game back. Turn it around.
Oh, man. I haven't seen this matchup before. I'm starting to wonder if it is kind of in the Avians' favor, or we just saw the right way to play it today. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Staying
I mean,
alive.
that 1 out of 6 didn't help, but I don't think that's really what determined this. I think
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, OL also says they're new to Swamp
with the
Orcs,
Swamp Orcs, and then
so
maybe,
yeah,
yeah,
I'll be
maybe
curious.
I just got more experience with the birds and thought of a good strategy here.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be curious if like there's anything they think they would have preferred to do, but I mean, also, yeah, like it seems like a tough matchup just to. I don't know, like if Muglug doesn't advance, she can be in trouble the whole time. And if she does advance, she can also be in trouble. Um, it's interesting. I would expect like a similar thing against with like the fungal dwarves versus avians, as like that they would. I don't know, like just they need to advance, but Ava just is sort of shooting at them the whole time. But somehow, like the fungal dwarves are kind of able to do it. Like you just sort of advance, place some early gates, and you end up being fine.
Well, the fungal dwarves can steal spots back, you know, because like avians are going to be playing a lot of commons, and you can infect stuff, and
Yeah, that's
Muglug
true.
doesn't really have that luxury.
Yeah,
So
I
I
mean,
so I
yeah. I suppose the Vine Mancers can do that a little bit, but
yeah,
not as easily.
this has been interesting to see though, because a lot of people have been saying they think the Swamp Orcs are really strong, and I know you can't just take one game as evidence, but
Nope,
the
Swamp Orcs are terrible. They need a buff. Sending this game straight to Colby. Dialing him up right after this.
I
That's fun.
wonder what OL is thinking about. Maybe he's just thinking about what he wants to say afterward.
It just
Because if I were in this situation, I'd probably just get frustrated and I would just like take inactivity damage and die. I don't know.
drafting his apology. Um,
Or maybe he's just trying to think, is there any way out of this?
some sort of
he's-
Vinemancer. Vinemancer on that side is interesting. I don't.
Hmm.
Hmm.
But I mean, like we said, there's not much you can do here. I think.
Yeah, there's not. It's still good to play it out. It's always good to play it out in this game, but
I wonder if a common dies if we see a diver kill. Just like, boop. Probably not. I don't think he's gonna kill the stuff on the spaces. So yeah.
yeah, that's
Oh, regenerate.
Hey, we got some
helps.
health.
Yeah.
We're basically chilling. 3 health. That's plenty. We don't need any more than
I mean,
that.
3 more. It's 200% more than she had. So.
It'd be real nice for that to be like another Vine Gate or something.
Oof.
No. I mean,
this is not looking good. Yeah. All right. Let's 3 magic. Probably don't need to summon anything. I think you probably just surround Muglug and let Ava get the killing blow. That's what I would do. But
like if Ava misses here, like there's a world where she's dead.
yeah, I mean, I guess maybe that's why I'm not a top player because I think the style points of having Ava get the last hit. Like I'd have the Steward hit first, or no, a Sage hit first. If she gets 2, then have Ava get the killing blow.
Yeah. I mean, something Eydir the whole time has just been very careful about putting Ava in range of Muglug.
Yeah. So I think even here we probably don't see the Ava kill as entertaining as I think that would be.
What was that
Unless we
unit?
use Sky Assault.
Yeah. Oh yeah, true. What was that
Because I
unit they
think
just dropped and then took back?
another Steward, I think.
I see. Okay.
So I could see moving the Sage to the left, put the Steward where the Sage is now, and then send Ava way down there and get a couple good shots. And yeah, I mean, I think I probably just pay too fast and loose. I think if I ever on the other end of the scuffle, you'll see that I'm taking like 12 minutes on a 45-minute clock.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I always feel bad in our games when like I'm like 25 minutes deep and you've used like 7. Nope, you're getting your wish.
Sky Assault, Battle Song. Oh,
Battle Song and probably Sky Assault. That
yep.
is gonna do it.
So yeah, Steward attack first just to see. Come on, don't kill, don't. Oh, killed. Dang it. No Ava kill.
GG. That's a lot of fun.
All right, so we're gonna try to get them on now.
Yep. I will call them up. On the start a call with them. Hey, how's it going? You hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Hey, nice to hear you. Eydir, are you here as well?
Hey, yeah, I hear you.
Hey, how's it going? Awesome. So let's just real quick have you guys introduce yourselves. So maybe, or Eydir, I can ask you first. How do you prefer your name pronounced? Because we've been saying Eydir the whole time, but not sure if that's right.
Eydir. Yeah. It's a Swedish name or basically an old Viking name, which is called Eydir. So it's very similar to the English idea.
Gotcha. And so tell us, like, how did you first get into the game, and what's something that interests you about it? What's something that keeps you coming back?
Oh, that's been quite a long time ago. I think it was around 2012 or so. I found out about this game on Vassal and played against Uncle Europe, and I think I like Tau. They were playing on Vassal quite a lot.
Yeah, they sure did.
And I was playing with them, or they taught me a little bit about this game. So I played mostly late in the evenings because the kids were still very small, and so I played when kids were sleeping. And second edition, so I always heard that there will be a second edition, but only found out last year, somewhere around May, June. I don't know exactly. And saw that there was the league. Massimo organized this league. And okay, I tried to play there as well. First, it was a little bit overwhelming because the factions are different. It's less predictable, so the cards are more surprising than in the first edition, I would say. But yeah, that's basically how it came back. And yeah, since then, I have to admit, second edition is better than first edition. Less annoying cards, and the factions are more interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. And anything in particular that you feel like is your favorite about this game, like any favorite factions or play style for you?
Oh, my favorite. So I'm coming from a chess background originally. So what I like is that one has some mixture about hand management and positioning. So, and I think the positioning aspect is more easy for me. The hand management, I sometimes ruin games just by hand management. My favorite factions at the moment, I'm trying to get I'm trying to learn Tundra Orcs. In first edition, I hated those guys, I have to admit. And now I have to admit, they in second edition they are quite nice. I'm not sure. My favorite before have always been something like the Avians, Breakers. I hated Breakers in first edition as well, I have to admit. So Avians, Breakers, and Eternal Council came easy as well. So those were favorites.
Gotcha. That's great. And then Orange Lazarus, what about you? How did you first get into the game, and what's something that keeps you coming back?
Sure. Um, I used to live in the Boston area, and a good friend of mine up there, he's still in the league. And I thought he introduced me to the game way back when, and we played a couple times in person, and I just enjoyed that. It was relatively simple to learn, but the more, there's a lot of depth. I mean, everybody says that, but you just, the more you analyze it or think about it, there are different ways to play, and I enjoyed just getting into the game, into the first edition more. Kind of like Eydir, I didn't have, I've got kids as well, so I usually played I took the train into work, and on the way home, and I'd play, and I remember playing him in the first edition. It was a lot of fun, but I kind of faded away from the game, and then the second edition came out, and I've enjoyed it even more. And factions that keep coming out are interesting and different, and add a new dynamic or a new angle to think about the game from. And even I feel like when the new factions get released, it even gives me a little more interest in playing some of the original factions, just seeing how they match up against them, and that's what's been fun about the league. Yeah, I'm excited for the Vargath to come out. I've been awaiting them for a while, as you can see by my avatar. Hopefully, I get to update that with like some 2E art. But yeah, that's kind of my story, how I got into it, and have kept coming back.
That's awesome. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Love everything. Love it when there's new factions and whatnot. So both of you, how are you feeling coming into this match, and like how did that develop for you? I know we decided on it pretty late. The Swamp Orcs versus Skyspear Avians. Yeah, what was your game plan coming in?
I was just thinking, let's have fun, and
Yeah.
Really, I think a typical. There are different ways to play, Swamp Orcs, and that's another thing I love about the game. You can play a lot of factions differently. I figured, if it's a live stream, I'll go a little more aggressive, do it for the content, rather than, I think a typical way is you kind of sit back and just kind of generate a bunch of boost and start, in a kind of different sort of way to Fungal Dwarves. You just generate a lot of boost and start getting a merge and regenerate in play and, kind of build up a bit of an army. But I figured I'd try and go a little more aggressive, just for the sake of the stream and having a little fun with it and keeping it an exciting game. But it quickly turned into a bit of a disaster for me. From dice and hand management, like or just the draw, it just fell apart. I had a lot of events early and at the end, and in the middle had, I struggled to get much going. But hey, still fun and glad I could be a part of it. But yeah, I figured kind of put some pressure on, try and get forward a little bit. He did a good job of not taking the bait and attacking my summoner really at all, and I just couldn't get enough going with commons to start really building the Swamp Orc engine. So the dice didn't help at times either, but it just unfortunately the game plan went sideways pretty early on, and I couldn't recover.
Yeah. Okay. For me, it was. Sorry. So for me, it was basically, Skyspear Avians being more mobile. I wanted to, if Swamp Orcs, as Orange already explained, they normally sit a little bit back, or at least that was my experience in my handful of games against them. And I wanted to be a little more aggressive and exchange comments, since the comments of Avians are far stronger than those of the Swamp Orc. So my plan was basically to eliminate comments of his comments so that regenerate and emerge cannot be used very efficiently. And then only after the game is already late in the game, then attacking the summoner. That was basically my plan. But okay, I was helped a lot by this 1 out of 6 there really in the beginning, so that I could eliminate that swamp gate, that wine gate there, which made my job quite a bit easier then.
Yes. Go ahead.
1 for 6, and you were smart to take out that vine gate because the other one was buried, and then once that was out, I think I had to discard an emerge because I knew I had no shot at using it because I couldn't get commons out, and it's funny how these little things early in the game can massively have kind of pretty big impacts on what you're trying to do, and that was one of them. And I probably at some point should have just tried to pull back, but again, I was just kind of I put on my Tundra Orc hat and just said, just keep charging and see what happens.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we were remarked with that 1 out of 6 was like a 0.1% chance. It's really low, so it's a rough time to have that one. But I mean, you had some other good turns later where you kind of would kill the 2 sentinels after they got behind you and stuff, and we thought you were kind of coming back into it, but I guess you had kind of gotten behind at that point anyway.
Yeah, and it is like, I feel like there are a few parallels to the Fungal Dwarves where if you kind of have a turn where you lose momentum, building it back up when you're in close quarters is really tough, because I felt like I was trying to get some momentum, but he just kept killing my commons and I couldn't keep him coming fast enough, and just my draw wasn't doing me much favor. So it really is, and with his mobility, he could just fly over gates and keep picking off the commons and not let me kind of build up a bunch of boost, which, it's an interesting, it's just something I'll have to think about more in future games, is like, man, how do I give myself a contingency? Because I got what's the one champion I got out
Black.
early? I kind of made. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'll get him out and get him in the mix. And then maybe that'll attract a bunch of his attention, and I can start building some commons in the back. But he didn't last long, and again, I had to pitch my emerge, which I was hoping I could. Once he got killed, I was going to pull him back out, but I had no commons to use emerge on, and I used either emerge, which was pretty disappointing.
Did you get regenerate early? One of them? Because I know you played one late, but did you get another one early? And you were kind of. How long did you hold on to it?
Not maybe a turn or two, but it was just pretty obvious he wasn't going to attack my summoner.
Yeah.
I just threw it away.
Yeah, I figured, but we were thinking that if you drew it early, it would have been bad because he was not attacking you at all. So you're a summoner, so yeah.
Yeah, I was really impressed by that. Like, I just kept saying on stream, I was like, oh, that'd be so many dice on Muglug. You should totally go for that. And then just over and over again, Eydir, you didn't. You went for the commons, and it seemed to work really well for you. Yeah, and I guess you said that's part of the game plan from the beginning, was just to keep the swamp down. It's always a tough decision for me, like whether or not I want to try to get Muglug out of the action or just attack the swamp directly.
Yeah, and it was basically I've tried to hold back quite a bit. I mean, normally I'm trying to get after the enemy summoner, but this time, so I wanted to hold back, kill commons, and then only when I think I could trap Muglug, then I wanted to go after him. It was basically when I could get behind him and then surround him so that I would get after him, especially since I only had 5 cards left, so I had to go after Muglug at that point somehow.
And yeah, and on that turn where you dove behind with Ava and everything, we were just like, oh no, it's over now, he's stuck. And then, yeah, you did, like, it was good patient play there, I think.
Yeah, some I thought I didn't, I'm thinking about now, but that gate placement, halfway up the board where on the just on the far side where he could sit Ava behind that gate, and I had Muglug behind the gate too. I realized like that he hates to be like that was a really bad position for Muglug because he's out of harm's way, but I want him in harm's way, and he can't really do much, and I don't really want to blow up that gate. So it was just that was a really good gate placement that I hadn't really thought about how good that could be, like both at protecting Ava, but also neutralizing Muglug and a lot of what he wants to do.
Yeah, that's true. Muglug wants to be in harm's way. Ava wants to be basically out of harm's way. So that was favoring me this positioning there. Yes.
Yeah, and also with a lot of patience to just like not fly Ava into Muglug's path too soon. Like, there's a few points where just like, oh, I could totally fly over there and place a gate if I had it or something and be right next to Muglug, and that's very risky. Muglug can blow you up in just a single turn there.
And it's true. There was so I was always trying, as I say, I was always trying to hold back, just because Muglug can. If a witch comes, sow event, and then he can throw huge amount of dice, and I didn't want to risk that. Even probably it would have been more fun for this stream there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've played this matchup a ton, but I think Ava has a lot of really good tools against Muglug because you could get get those stewards set up to really just like they're beefy enough that they can withstand a lot of what the commons can do, but you can stay at range, and it's really hard for Muglug to kind of advance on that, but kind of has to because of those the stewards from afar, and then gathering song is really effective. So I actually like Ava in the matchup a lot. To not maybe something I would have thought about at the beginning, but she definitely creates problems for Muglug.
Yeah, I agree. It showed. I think I've played this matchup once, perhaps twice, and I've tried to develop a similar basic plan to this, just because of the mobility. And yes, you're right. The stewards are just very beefy, and then the sentinels are immune to this wine. How is it called? Wine.
Vine,
Wine pool.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's another advantage. So you can use them as good blockers if you need them to guard your summoner. That's pretty nice. So you have a few tools there against Magluk's engine.
Yeah, I noticed you using a lot of the sentinels, especially early on.
Yeah. And then, okay, that was partially due to the draw.
Yeah.
I drew them early, but okay, they did their job.
But I feel like you played almost every sentinel, at least 3, maybe. Yeah.
No, I think I played all 4 of them. I tried to get. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I had Cyrook. Rook? Is he called Cyrook?
Yeah.
How is he pronounced? I don't know.
Oh, that's right.
Cyrook, I was holding on to him quite a long time. I think basically up to the end of the game, and I had him from turn 3 on or so.
Oh, wow.
But always thought, yeah, he will come in handy. And then I always thought, no, the stewards and sentinels are now more useful than him. Never played him.
Yeah, I mean they've got a lot of health, and you kept just kind of holding the line.
Yeah. So basically, I had him at the end of the game just for if I would get so. If he had retreated, I wanted to keep him then, just to have some use for magic, which I would get from the gates, this advanced gates then.
Yeah.
Muglug does not have going first. I did not have. I mean, maybe with a different hand I could have, but there weren't many great options for that first turn. Because your units are all out of reach for Muglug, so in order to get an attack on one of those units, you have to send a common up, which isn't really what you want to be doing anyway. And it's a tough. I think I'd much rather have gone second in this matchup than go first, because just your units are too far away to do anything and really get set up well.
Yeah, I kind of felt similarly in the league matchup this week, which was like sand goblins versus cloaks, where you're just like really far back, and I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a huge advantage for me to go second there, just because he had to place his commons so that I could at least kill one of them. And losing one of those 2 starting commons, which are both pretty good, or one of the better commons Muglug has, without getting anything for it, is quite a disadvantage there. Yes.
Yeah, I'm curious to ask you, Orange Laz, about like being aggressive here, and like, and I know you said partially you did it for fun, but I can also see that like Muglug needs to like close some of a range gap between herself and Ava, and it seemed, I mean, your comments were getting picked off, but like it seemed like you positioned it like every turn somehow in a place that like wasn't just like immediately dead to Ava, and you had some tough luck at the beginning, but like I was impressed by just like every turn it was like, no, like you've positioned it, you've put Muglug in a good spot where like Ava's like not gonna dare fly behind you, and you still have a chance to set up the swamp again in the next turn. Like, what would you say about like your general strategy or tips for just like advancing with Muglug or against the Avians so that you can like keep yourself in one piece?
Yeah, I was definitely thinking about not wanting Ava to get behind me, and he did that at the end, but the game was pretty much over. I feel like by that point, and I was, kind of in get out of my misery mode. But I think like to me, if you keep I like having a gate to one side, and then just kind of being mindful of how much reach Ava will have on being able to get units behind me. But a gate to the side protects against the, you know, uh, whatever whatever side Ava's on. Having a gate to that side helps protect against the what's it called, the sky assault. From like getting, because I feel like that's where you really can get lit up pretty fast. Either the getting surrounded from behind or setting up just an obvious sky assault turn. So I just, again, I was trying to get Muglug in the action where he would get one or two shots, but not some kind of huge sky assault where he's, Muglug's going to take 10 damage or something. So
Hmm.
I think like that's kind of what I, think about most of the time, is try not to get, units behind, and have something to the flank that can protect.
Yeah, for sure. That makes sense. It seems just tricky in general to play around Ava, but I guess just the more familiar you are with her, the more that becomes second nature. Yeah, and I'm also just thinking about like vine mancers here, and I know Eydir is saying to, like, spent a lot of time thinking about like using stalwart on the sentinels to play around them. Um, I feel like vine mancers, especially since swamp orcs are so new, like I have not unlocked their potential. They can do so much for both like getting rid of the Skyspear Avians defenses and um, I don't know, just letting Mugla get to spots she couldn't. Like, was that for both of you guys? Like, how were you thinking about like Vine Mancers and how to play around them, what they can do for you? Still just not really sure how to think about them in the game yet.
Orange, do you want to go first, or shall I just ramble a little bit about what
Go ahead.
I thought there?
Go for it.
Okay, so for me, I saw the potential of these vine mancers basically in the league when I was playing against Profit with Tundra Orcs against Swamp Orcs, and how he managed to move my commons and his summoner around there. So basically, what I wanted to do it was that protect Ava in a way so that he couldn't get my cover away with the Vine Mancer. So that if I have a steward protecting her, that he couldn't get an open line for Muglug to get to her. And if he can get the steward in Muglug's range, okay, steward can take one hit and he has to use at least 2 attacks or reap quite a few commons. So I was trying to defend my units in a way that he had no easy way to use the huge attacks that Muglug is able to. Or yeah, I used a lot of sentinels, which are basically not affected by the Vine Mancer at all. So that was my basic. That was a basic idea. Normally, these basic ideas fall apart during the game.
Mhm.
In this game, due to the early luck, it worked. But normally, these basic ideas, I have to address the mid game somehow, because it does not work the way I thought it would work.
Yeah, and it was again a bit of a strange game, because I feel like most of I had the Vine Mancers at the beginning and at the end, and not as many in between. And at the beginning, the action got pushed to the one side, and again, it's kind of hard if I feel like Vine Mancers are best when you can kind of, there's a little bit of space, so you can either pull your units or pull theirs, and when it was all to the side, and there was some decent distance, it was hard for me to get, and my gates were behind me. It was hard to get Vine Mancers up far enough to do anything because, pulling my own units back doesn't do much good. But getting the Vine Mancers up there that they could move his units or move my units forward was hard to do. And then the Sentinels out there also, not only can you not move them, but if they're neck adjacent to other units, you can't pull units. It just kind of creates a bit of a headache. So I wasn't able to use them very effectively. I think probably my best use of one was when I pulled a Vine Witch up to allow a second attack with Muglug, but that, other than that, I don't think I did a whole lot with the Vine pull most of the game, and that's hats off to Eydir and how he played effectively.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think we're about time to wrap up here. Jaxic, do you have any last questions that you want to ask before we're done?
I don't think so. I think they cover things pretty well.
Yeah, good stuff. Anything in particular you guys are excited about for the future of Summoner Wars?
Oh, I'm excited as Orange for the release of the Vargas. They've been my favorite faction in first edition. I've played basically half to two-thirds of all my first edition games were Vargas.
Oh wow!
On my side, I liked just pushing to the side of your opponent and always try to prove that it is a viable strategy. So
and they seem
I'm excited.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say they seem like the closest faction to Vikings too, given what you were saying about your name earlier.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not really some kind of Viking. And I don't have any nostalgic thinking about Vikings, but yeah, you're right. They are this formation fighting and going straight to the front seems quite a bit Viking style. Yes. Yeah, and I'm excited how they will implement this positioning aspect. This very so it was. For me, they were the finest design in the first edition. The ability of the summoner was so easy, but so deep as well. It was a great experience playing with them. They had some kind of feeling for me there, and it really rang with me. So I'm really excited how they will turn out in second edition.
Yeah, similar. I liked, because especially in the first edition, it was many more people played super defensively, and it was just kind of rewarding to play with Vargoth and be aggressive and be able to be effective and use the brute to knock around units and kind of find unique ways to kind of move forward and kind of neutralize a super defensive strategy. So that'll be fun to see if they keep some of that same style where, of just how the faction was designed and what they could do and how they, strengthen each other and play on each other and can kind of. There was that callback event where you could call units back to gates. It was a lot. It was kind of a neat thing. So hopefully some of those things stay in the mix. I'm looking forward to more public losses. That would be fun. So maybe I can stream again and lose embarrassingly. But otherwise, no, it's good. I think it's fun, and I appreciate you guys putting this on, and happy to be.
Yeah, well, just thank you guys so much for just coming on and playing a quick game and chatting about it. I mean, yeah, it's been so much fun, and it's just great to get to know you guys better.
Yeah, thanks for organizing. It's really been fun. A long time since I've played in such a short time. So in the first edition there was this, I think, quarter of an hour you could play these really fast games on the app. So quarter of an hour or so. I for some time when I was still younger there, I played that. Now I'm too old, too slow for that, and it was cool playing something which is close to a real life time game. There, it was fun. Thanks for organizing that.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, guys.
I
Yeah.
agree. It was good. I remember some of our first edition battles, so it was, if I have to lose to someone, I'm glad I could lose to you. So good to finally meet you in person after like years of just playing against each other virtually.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
But okay, I will probably never go to Gen Con to play really in person against you because it's just too far away. For another streaming game, I would like to play that again.
Fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I don't know. We gotta coax some of you Europeans over. That would be a blast.
Yeah, for sure. And it'd be fun to have more live games in general. I mean, I guess whenever we have a Steam release and can play in arena mode live games again, that'd be great. 'Cause yeah, it's just so much fun, and it's fun to watch just two people go head to head, and you don't have infinite time. Just fun. But yeah, so thank you so much for coming on. Next week, we'll have another one. I'll post about that soon. What time and date, and yeah, I love to have more people on. Feel free to send me or Fuzzy Marmot a message. Fuzzy Marmot will be back next week. If you're interested in coming on. And yeah, Eydir and Orange Lazarus, that was tons of fun. I hope to see you guys around. Yeah, thanks for coming on. I'll catch you next time.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks.